Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and in today's video we are back working in this bathroom. We have made a lot of progress so far, but we still have tons more to do before this bathroom is done. Okay, here's where we left off in the bathroom. We've pulled up the tile and redone the floors and new toilet. We've refaced the vanity, and we still need to do a lot of things, but in this video, I want to concentrate on this vanity. The first thing I want to work on is a new countertop. And the reason I want to do the countertop first is because we're going to be using epoxy, and that takes a little bit to cure and be completely dry. So while that's drying, we can come then work on our actual vanity so we don't waste any time. Okay, here's the plan. I went to Lowe's and I had them rip down a 3/4 inch sheet of MDF. And the reason that I'm using that is because it is super smooth and the edges are a lot more dense than plywood. So I have that piece. Now I had them rip it to the correct width that the countertop is going to be, but I'm going to take this first piece, put a bunch of glue on it, then I have my second piece right here that I will layer on top of that, and when the glue is dry, I will trim this side so I can make sure that they line up perfectly. Okay, our boards, the glue is dry, and so I need to trim this edge right here. So I'm gonna mark on my boards the same length width from this side to right here, and the same thing down there, and then I'm going to use my skill saw. I'm gonna use a board as a guide, but I'm gonna use my skill saw and cut off this back end right here. Watching this video back, I can see that this is where it started to go wrong. It's like it was an omen or something, but I stepped on a board and it did not go into my foot, but 100% my fault because I left it there and shouldn't have done that. But here I just love how I'm like mad at the board. Like it's the board's fault that I leave my stuff everywhere. So definitely need to get this garage more organized, but this cut went well, so that was the most important thing. And not having a nail in my foot. Okay, just realized I made a mistake. The board is not long enough. I want to blame the guy at Lowe's, but I probably told him the wrong measurements. So what I'm gonna do is I just took a piece of the scrap that I cut off right here and just cut that down, and I'm just gonna screw that in right here and use some wood filler, and once we paint it and put the epoxy on top, it'll all look like one solid piece. So I knew that this was probably going to take a couple coats of wood fillers. The first coat, it sinks down into the hole that you were trying to fill. And so you sand after each coat. And so I sanded this down and then refilled it with the second coat. And then I went through and sanded the side of the countertop 2B, even though the cut was pretty clean, but I just wanted to make it completely smooth. Okay, still waiting on that wood filler to dry, but I want to move on to the sink area. This is a sink I grabbed at a Habitat for Humanity. I thought it was really nice and big. So we need to figure out a hole that we need to cut in here. Now we don't have a template because I bought the sink, again, Habitat for Humanity. So what I'm gonna do is place it where it needs to go and then trace around it, and then I'll show you how we're gonna get our inside cut. In order to get our inside measurement, I measured the lip of the undermount sink, the part that's going to attach to the countertop, and I set this little compass tool at that same measurement. So as I'm tracing the outside, I am hopefully getting the same shape for the inside. Okay, I think using that circular bit is going to give me a much cleaner cut on the inside right here, and then after I finish the other two, I will take my jigsaw and cut that line right there. Drilling through 1.5 inches of this MDF was not super easy. You can see that I keep putting like my body weight into it, and I kept having to stop and then clear out my bit because it would get clogged with the MDF material. But I got all 4 of the holes done, and then I went in with my jigsaw. Now this is super sped up. It was taking forever with the jigsaw, but it was more precise. It was just taking too long, and I grew impatient, and I wasn't sure that the jigsaw was making a clean cut, so I just went in with my skill saw just to cut off like half so I could see the cuts that I was making. I hope that makes sense. So they looked pretty good, but I thought that skill saw went through the MDF much easier than the jigsaw did, so why not just use the skill saw? And that was a mistake as well because the cut is not nearly as clean and it was a lot more bumpy, which is definitely not what you want for the profile of your countertop with an undermount sink. Okay, today just must be one of those days. I messed up again, and it's kind of a big one. So I put the sink on top and then looked underneath, and I cut the hole too big, which is super annoying, but I think I can make it better. Well, if I really wanted to, I could put a drop-in sink in here, but I really don't want to because, you know what, at this point I'm not gonna let this thing beat me. So I think I'm just going to put a piece right here and then glue it, and I'll have to wood fill it, and then a piece right here. And again, this is going to have an epoxy layer all over it, so it will camouflage all of that and make a hard top barrier. Okay, I'm gonna let all that wood filler dry overnight. I am calling it a day. It was a super frustrating day of building, but that's okay. This countertop is not going to beat me. I will see you guys tomorrow with some new ideas. Okay, that wood filler dried overnight, so I want to sand that down smooth, and then we will assess where we are with this countertop.
Yesterday there was sun and there was rain, beauty in the mundane, and as the light startled our eyes, we let go of disguise.
Okay, the top is all sanded smooth. It might not look like it, but if you just close your eyes and run your hand over it, you will be able to see anything that you can feel once you paint. So if you close your eyes and it feels smooth to you, you should be good to go. Now, I'm not worried about the insides because I have a different plan for the inside. And when I say I'm not worried about the inside, I'm actually very worried about the inside. I mean, I'm not worried about sanding it because I have a new plan, I think, and that's going to involve my router, which I maybe should have done in the first place, but I have to order a bit for it to come in because I need one that's long enough because my countertop is going to be 1.5 inches thick. So still have to do the inside and epoxy and everything, but this is all that I got done this week and I didn't want to not get a video out for you guys. But let me know in the comments, if you were me, would you throw in the towel? Would you just go in with a drop-in sink and not worry about getting the sides smooth? Or would you keep going to get the look that you really want? Keep going back and forth, but part of me is like, I'm gonna beat this thing and it's going to end up looking the way I want it to look. But thanks so much for sticking around with me for this video and seeing kind of the behind the scenes, the backstory of things not going the way you think they're gonna go and having to pivot. So I will be back in another video, hopefully with a solution to figure out how we're gonna make this work. I'll see you guys then. Bye.